Hey y'all, it's John Trent from Batting Into Comics, and I've got some major spoilers for Star Wars' upcoming The Mandalorian show that is going to be premiering on Disney Plus on November 12th. That's this upcoming Tuesday. Before we get into these huge, and these are huge spoilers, I'd like to ask if you could please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. So now let's get into the Mandalorian spoilers. I want to thank Ichibaka of Disney Star Wars is Dumb for pointing this one out to me. And if you don't want to hear these potential spoilers about The Mandalorian, I suggest you tune out now. Alright, so let's get into this. Over on 4chan, a user claims they have seen the pilot of The Mandalorian, and they know just who The Mandalorian is, or it's at least tease about the identity of this Mandalorian. So I'm just going to go ahead and read what this user on 4chan wrote straight up. So this is a quote. "It's good, really, really effing good. It took about 10 minutes to realize the pilot is disjointed. I don't think the rest of it will be." I believe he's referring to the rest of the series. In that it's set up like Memento. There is a story moving forward in the beginning, intertwined by flashbacks that start close to the beginning and move further in the past. The Mando is super mysterious. He doesn't tell anyone his name in the present or the flashback scenes. It opens like all good Star Wars things do, with a ship approaching a planet. The Mando is tasked with securing a package and delivering the package to a fierce Imperial remnant. At the next to last sequence, the Mando discovers his package is a child, a little girl. I do want to stop here a little bit. So the part about the Mando being tasked with the securing a package and delivering the package to a fierce Imperial remnant, that's definitely most likely in that pilot episode. Leaked footage from Star Wars Celebration sees him talking to an Imperial officer who's giving him, or it looks like it's an Imperial officer, could be a former Imperial officer. There's about 4 stormtroopers in the room with this guy, and he's giving him a task to hunt down and capture. He wants to capture this person alive, but they also agree that he could bring him back dead as well. It's definitely revealed that it's a person. The little girl is kind of like a new thing, but that would not surprise me. But he's definitely hunting a human being. We saw that in the leaked footage from Star Wars Celebration. If you were at Star Wars Celebration, you saw that. And if you happened to watch the leaked footage before Disney decided to take it down, which was up for quite a bit, then you also saw that. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's continue with what this alleged leaker is saying. The flashbacks are what people will talk about. Throughout them, you see the Mando assemble a crew, then later, but earlier chronologically, meet the contact who gives him the job. Then just before this, he gets arrested by stormtroopers who are trying to who are trying to look for him that he owns easily until he hits his head on an overhang. Then earlier, he's searching for something, a ship more than likely. Then earlier, he gets new armor. Then earlier, he's in a big cantina brawl with other bounty hunters. Then earlier, he's cloaked and retrieves the old dingy armor from a chest in an abandoned structure. And then here's the big scoop here on potentially who this Mandalorian is. And then the final shot of the episode is a zoom in on the Sarlacc pit and a hand emerging from below, grasping onto the ground. Had me hype, can't wait to see people's reactions. If what this alleged leaker is saying is true, it definitely intimates that the Mandalorian is Boba Fett and he survived his encounter with the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi. And I'm not discounting this idea. I actually think this is a very realistic idea, especially after the news we've had this past month with everything at D23, and then Ewan McGregor doing his Dr. Sleep tour and talking about the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. So back in December 2017, we got a report that Disney and Lucasfilm were moving forward with their rumored Boba Fett movie. However, that movie never came to be. While that movie never came to be, it's quite possible it was repurposed into this Disney Plus TV series. Ewan McGregor admitted the recently announced Obi-Wan Kenobi series was originally a film that has now been repurposed into a Disney Plus TV series. McGregor spoke to ComingSoon.net. It wasn't always going to be a series, not initially. When we first started talking about that wasn't really in the cards, but everything's changed so much so quickly. It's really exciting that it is now. I'm really into the idea to be able to tell the story over several hours instead of just one hit. I think it's going to be quite cool. And that's what Ewan McGregor had to say, confirming that the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series was originally going to be one hit, aka a singular film. So it would not surprise me to see Disney have The Mandalorian turn out to be Boba Fett. They've been riding a wave of negativity since The Last Jedi when it comes to Star Wars, and they need something to turn the ship around because it's sinking, and it's sinking fast. Especially if you look at that Q3 report, the outlook for Star Wars does not look good. The Rise of Skywalker does not look to be that answer, given all of the rumors coming out of there, and it's all there's just no interest. There's no interest in the Rise of Skywalker. If you look at those Google Trends charts, it doesn't look good. And then Lucasfilm and Star Wars seem to be putting their eggs into the Mandalorian's basket. What better way to win people back than to give them a fan favorite ass-kicking Mandalorian in Boba Fett, or I guess he's a clone. He's not technically a Mandalorian because he's a clone. But yeah, he's still a fan favorite ass-kicking bounty hunter. Now, if they do bring Fett back, I'm sure some people might whine about the fact that he was killed in the Sarlacc pit. Well, Darth Maul was cut in half in The Phantom Menace, and they brought him back in both Solo, The Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels. If you haven't watched The Clone Wars, he's one of the more interesting characters on the show, with a unique character arc. In fact, I would argue the recent Darth Maul comics have actually been pretty decent as well. And you could even argue with The Clone Wars, Darth Maul might be the more intriguing character. Maybe a close second is Ahsoka, and then you have a little bit of Obi-Wan and obviously Anakin. But Darth Maul is definitely one of the top 5 most interesting characters, I would say, on the Clone Wars animated series. So there is a track record for bringing back iconic characters that might have been extinguished too early, and I'll be all for them bringing Boba Fett back to us. Surviving the Sarlacc pit just adds to his legend. Now, at the same time, I hope they actually show him maybe fighting the Sarlacc pit. I know I haven't read it, but from what I understand, there's some EU books where he actually makes his way out of the Sarlacc pit, and it's kind of an adventure. So I wouldn't be disappointed if they kind of show that too, show that struggle, show that iron will, show that perseverance to survive. That would be something I would be interested in seeing. Maybe they will explore that. We'll see. But at the same time, I can't lie that I would not be disappointed that they could not give us a brand new creation without having it tie to the original trilogy. That was definitely something I was actually looking forward to seeing with The Mandalorian, new characters dealing with their own problems. That's not to say we won't get that, but adding in Boba Fett does lessen that mystique a little bit for me. So, what do you make of these alleged plot details from The Mandalorian? Do you think The Mandalorian is actually Boba Fett? Or do you think this is just like a complete bamboozle and this guy's just making it up to try and gin up interest in Disney Plus and The Mandalorian? My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounty in the Comics. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Until next time.